Boy, Lerone Murphy beat the brakes off of Edson Barboza like it wasn't even a fair contest. They made a big deal about Barboza with that up kick as Lerone Murphy was standing over him in round 2. And let's be honest, that didn't do that much, guys. We saw in rounds 3, 4, and 5 Lerone Murphy just literally throwing 1s and 2s at Edson Barboza. A huge statement win from the UK prospect, and it's deserving. He is a really fun fighter. He's got some good finishes. He's not like a born and bred finisher, sure, but you don't have to be. Lerone Murphy just showed, like, hey, look, I can wow people with 1s and 2s, right? Because that's all it is. That's all he did. Yeah, so great performance. A statement win from Lerone Murphy. He showed up, showed out, and beat an old, let's be honest though, it is an old guy. You know, but he did beat a guy who, you know, Edson Barboza just beat Sadiq Youssef, who's, you know, a good fighter. So, you know, what's that say? Like, I'm looking at his things now. Kulabau, he beat Gabriel Santos. That knee knockout of Makwan Americani, Douglas Silva de Andrade. Yeah, he's a good fighter, man. And featherweight needs some new good fighters. And he's one of them now. You know, you got like Dan Ige, you got Diego Lopez on the come up here. Sterling's new to the division, though he's kind of old. Evloev. But we got this new guy at the top, Ilya Topuria. If you haven't heard of him, go look him up. He's fantastic. And he needs some new contenders because these old guys, Brian Ortega, Josh Emmett, Yair Rodriguez, those guys aren't cutting it anymore. Lerone Murphy, kind of boring, but so is Movsar Evloev, and we're begging to watch him fight for the title fight. Statement win. Beating an older guy like Barboza, who's been around for God knows how long. Even this featherweight run has been good for Edson Barboza. He's had some hard times? Yeah. Well, what 38-year-old doesn't? Remember Henry Cejudo? He struggled. A statement win. And that's what Lerone Murphy needed. I would have liked to see a finish, sure. And Barboza has been finished, sure. But Murphy's win was just one of those moments where it's like, hey, I'm vindicated. I should be here. This is a top 15 guy, and it should be me. And it was. All night, he dominated Edson Barboza. Just made a statement like, I am him. I am here. Let's go. I mean, yeah, we got like the Max Holloways, all these old guys that have been around for forever. They've been around for forever. But yeah, statement win. I really enjoyed watching Lerone Murphy fight. It was hard after watching Usyk and Fury fight, which was a fantastic fight. But, like, in a vacuum where we don't have multiple events on the same day, Lerone Murphy's win, fantastic. Didn't finish him, but had Barboza looking rough, like he'd just been through a battlefield or something. It was a fantastic win. Just a big statement from Lerone Murphy. Look for him to start climbing the ranks here soon. I'd like, we're going to talk about it later, but there's some fights that are going forward that Lerone Murphy we could see and would be very fun. Diego Lopez, even though, a lot of people are against like pitting your prospects against each other. But remember, Max Holloway and Conor McGregor fought. Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier fought. Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor fought as prospects. Diego Lopez versus Lerone Murphy, anyone? He really did a good job of beating the brakes off of Edson Barboza, though. Just battered him. And it wasn't a complicated game plan either, if you want to know the truth. He just had to be disciplined. He had to make sure he stayed out of trouble. And he just had to fight right. And he did that. So we know Edson Barboza is kind of allergic to takedowns, although we haven't seen that of him lately. He even mixed in a little bit of that. That's what got him up kicked. But yeah, and it was very simple what he did, just 1s and 2s. He fought out of orthodox. He's a switch hitter. He fought out of orthodox most of this fight. He steps in, throws out the jab, left jab, and then had Barboza covering up, trying to throw elbows in round 4. But he just battered Edson Barboza. It was sad to see. You know, Edson Barboza, the wheel kick, he even tried that twice in this fight. He knew he needed a Hail Mary by round 4. Didn't get it. You know, and Lerone Murphy's just the better fighter. He's a younger guy. He's not 38. If I had to guess, he'd be like 28. Yeah, 10 years younger. How old is he? Let's see. 32. Oh, he's a little up there too. But featherweight's kind of old anyway. So, yeah, there's this, you know, it was really a simple game plan. Jab, cross, exit. Don't let Barboza come back at you. And Edson Barboza had some good moments. He has a really good switch kick. We know Edson Barboza. So switch kicks when you kick with your front leg, right? So you bring your back foot forward and you kick in front. Kind of like Alexander Volkanovski kicks the lead leg with his lead leg. Except Barboza throws it hard to the body. Yeah. It's a good win. I was very happy for Murphy. You know, he's one of those guys that's kind of just been around, kind of not making a lot of noise, but he's still there. And he's still a hard fight. But it was great. Great seeing him win. Kind of sad seeing a guy I like Edson Barboza lose. I love Barboza. You know, I've watched him for forever. As a matter of fact, I think he was on the first card I ever watched. If I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Was he on that one? First card I ever watched was John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. That was 196 or 160 something. No, that was he wasn't on that one. Never mind, but still, you know, I watched him on the Silver Weidman card. 162. I mean, yeah, Bobby Green fight, the Michael Johnson fight, his epic fight with Paul Felder. Speaking of Paul Felder, they showed the highlight of the spinning back kick on Paul Felder. How did Felder eat a spinning back kick to the back of his head? The dude's got a head made of bricks, right? But yeah, so great win. Beat up my boy, but hey, you know, such is life. This is a predator. This is a young man's sport. So what's next for Lerone Murphy? There's options. I mentioned Diego Lopez. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at the Tapology stuff right now. I'm gonna work on getting the screen up for you guys too when I need to. Let's see. There's Alex Sakaris, who has 2 losses in a row. Don't want to do that. That would be fun, though. Lerone versus Sakaris. Is he ranked, though? No, Sakaris isn't ranked anymore. Yusuf, Bryce Mitchell. Giga's got to fight. Sterling. Yeah. I don't know if there's much for him at the top. You know? Sterling needs a fight. Diego Lopez needs a fight, but they're not fighting down. Calvin Cater's on 3 losses. I don't want to do that to him. Mitchell's got a fight he's rumored to have. Forget against who. So, yeah, you have to fight below. Sean Woodson would be a fun one. Let's defend your ranking, bro. Sean Woodson, really long, really hard fighter. Nate Landwehr, maybe. Onama's on a 2-fight win streak. Yeah, there's some fights out there that, you know, you gotta kind of. I mean, I get you want to put him against somebody above him. But, like, I'm not going to put him against Aljamain Sterling. Volkanovski? No. Josh Emmett? Maybe. Arnold Allen's fighting Chikazze right now. And I'm not trying to put him top 5. Like, no, you got to fight a top 10 guy first. So, like, there's really... Lerone Murphy's going to have to, like, let the division play out for about 3 months to see what can possibly be next for him. It's going to take some time off, you know, maybe fight below yourself. I mentioned... there's Sadiq Yusuf would be fun. He's on a 2-fight skid, though. 2 and 3 in his last 5. Ooh, Damon Jackson won 1. He looked good in his last one, too. So, yeah, there's some options out there for him. It was a fun fight card, though. Like, a fun main event. Lots of Lerone Murphy just kind of stepping in, 1-2, and putting a hurt on somebody. You know, good on him. I was happy he got it done. Khaos Williams had another first-round knockout, and I'm not that inspired, to say the least. He fought Carlston Harris, which, he's 19-5 going in this, 19-6 now. But, like, who's Carlton Harris beat? Jarrett Gooden? Okay, Jeremiah Wells got beat the brakes off of by Shavkat. Beat Impa Kasanganay, who cuts loads of weight. Christian Aguilera in his UFC debut. Like, his striking's just bad. He clubbed him. Like, he was just trying to club. He wasn't just winging punches. And Khaos' game plan was simple, And with his win, like, what does that put him at now? 2 in a row? So he's lost to Pereira, beat Schlemelsberger, Miguel Baeza, lost to Randy Brown via split decision. That's a tough fight for him. And then Bedoya and Harris, his last 2 have been wins. He's got a win over Alex Morono, which hurt my feelings. That was his UFC debut. Took on Alex Morono. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, 30-second knockout. So the guy has power. We know he has power. And he's a really fun fighter. So good win for Khaos. We didn't learn anything more about him, though. Like, he did a good job of throwing that jab to the body. Kind of, hey, guys, I'm going to punch you up top one day. But when? I don't know. So we'll figure it out, right? And he did. He figured it out. It's really quick. And Harris went down like a ton of bricks, too. Just at a minute and 30. He didn't even hit him at a minute and 30. It was like at a minute and like 30 seconds, or not even 30, maybe 20 seconds, something like that. But you get what I'm saying. Like, he got out there, he got in, got it done, and got paid the way you're supposed to do it. So great. Fun knockout. Not a great fight. And he's done some split decisions in the past, so, great. A lot of the other people on this card, I kind of didn't know. Themba Gorembo, I've never watched him fight. 13-4, he got the unanimous decision win. But who I do want to talk about is Adrian Yanez. Specifically, has he regressed? So Yanez was a fan favorite fighter coming up. And bantamweight's so good. It's such a good division. Like, you can like these unranked guys and be seen as like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. So before he came to the UFC, his only loss was to Miles Johns in LFA. He wins a couple fights in Fury, another fight in LFA, has a contender series win. Then he comes in and beats Victor Rodriguez, Gustavo Lopez, Randy Costa, Davey Grant, and Tony Kelly. And Tony Kelly's the one where he knocked him out. That had all that bad blood, and I believe Kelly told him to go back to Mexico or something. It was something, Tony Kelly's shenanigans. Dude's an idiot. But anyway, knocked him out and he flipped him off. So then he goes and he fights Rob Font. Rob Font does this good job of jabbing because, Adrian Yanez is getting off on him, getting the best of him. So Font reaches, jabs with his left hand and starts firing the uppercuts, and boom, he lands an uppercut. So, like, if you got an opponent that's very squirrely, that's hard to reach, you want to just grab onto him somehow. And if you're a striker, throw in the uppercuts. We saw it against Usyk and Fury. Fury did the same thing. But that ended up him getting knocked out in the first round. Jonathan Martinez, the second fight of 2023 for Adrian Yanez, he lost with leg kicks. The dude just battered his leg. So he fought Vinicius Salvador, and I like Adrian Yanez, but that was an ugly performance from him. Horrible, honestly. He's sitting there winging in these punches and doing everything he can to land heavy, wanting to highlight. But you got to go out there and you got to execute and fight correctly. You can't just go out there and brawl. If you go out there and brawl somebody like Sean O'Malley, Corey Sandhagen, going to spark you. Song Yadong will spark Adrian Yanez if he fights like that again. If they fight together. Like, if they were to fight the very next fight, Song Yadong puts him out cold. Corey Sandhagen styles on him. O'Malley, maybe not Cheeto Vera. But yeah. So, it seemed like he kind of got ahead of himself there. I don't want to say he regressed. He might have. But his footwork wasn't really there. He's winging in punches wide. No straight punches. No elbows. None of that stuff that we loved about Adrian Yanez. Kind of sucked. So, I want to see more out of Yanez here. I want to see him take a smarter approach in a fight, not just go for a highlight, I don't think that was a good representation of who Adrian Yanez was. Angela Hill got punched in the chesticle, and it was a really weird, she got the guillotine in the second round. That's all you need to know. But she got punched in. I didn't know that was, it was an uppercut, I believe. She kind of flicked it, and it was like, oh, that hurt. And she tried to call you, but you can't say, hey ref, I'm hurt. Hey, I'm hurt. Yeah, hurt. That's what happened to Cedric Doumbé. Tom Nolan beat Victor Martinez. Omar Sy, who's everybody's really big on, he's 10-0 now. He won his fight via rear naked choke. The guy has a really good backpack. It looks like punches from back mount. Jeez. Rear naked choke. So, yeah, I got to go back and watch him. I watched it, but I didn't pay as much attention. Melissa Gatto, who's had a hard time getting fights recently, she got a win over Tamaris Vidal. Oh, Vidal, that was a good win if that's who I'm thinking of. Did Vidal just fight recently? No, she's not who I'm thinking of. Co-main event a couple weeks ago. Abus Magomedov, the Gas King, beat Warley Alvarez. Ariane Karnalowski and Piero Rodriguez was a fun one. We'll go over that in a second here. Alan Gadahali and Clayson Rodriguez. Yeah, I don't know. Vanessa Demopoulos beat Emily Dakota. So let's go back to that headbutt disqualification. So Karnalowski lost because Piero Rodriguez wanted to headbutt in the guard. You can't do that. You got to play under the same rules, guys. I hope that was clear. But as a guy who wrote an article and made a big video about headbutts and how to do them from the standing and from the guard, I was like, hey, that's cool. And when you're in the guard, it really kind of neutralizes the guard's threat or takes the advantage away from the grappler because I can just with the forehead. And that's what you're supposed to do. And I loved it. I loved it so much. I hated it because, it's against the rules. I get it, but I loved it. It was fantastic. And I was like, yes, more headbutt from the guard, please.